Welcome in to our Sunday morning NFL pregame show right here on Coach and Company. I am Mike Pendleton, best known on this brand as Mikey P. And joining me today, as he always does for NFL Sunday mornings, the one and only, our numbers guy, Rafael Esparza. Rafael, I don't know what that was. I think we got to shut the show down and try it all over again. Anyways, how are you, sir? Oh,
I
no. What are we
I am too.
doing?
I was lowering my TV. That's why I had him on the mute button because I forgot to lower it when the music started. But good morning, Mikey. Good morning, crew and family. Well, we started off red hot this Sunday, Mikey, but we'll bounce back because I have some really good winners.
Yeah, we've got a lot of good plays here. We've got three separate people putting in plays today. We will get to those in a matter of moments. We've got 4 games on the docket that we will specifically highlight, and then we'll run through the rest of the early slate, and we will look at some headlines, including a very interesting trade detail that we didn't hear about until today. Also, I may or may not rant about how reporters leak out, well, this team was interested in that player, but that didn't mean anything because they didn't get said player. Anyways, that is still to come. Right now, it is time to beat the books. All right, Rafael, go ahead and get us started with all that we have for you today.
Win the first game. Why not bash the New Orleans Saints some more on a Sunday week 10? We're going with the Carolina Panthers minus 5.5. This one open at 3.5. I'm shocked that we have not seen a 6 pop up yet. Granted, we still have a couple more hours till kickoff, but I would say still grab the 5.5, maybe even buy it down to 5. Carolina's won 4 of their last 5 games, and they've covered 4 out of their last 5 games. They're probably playing one of the quietest best games or best seasons so far that no one's really talking. We talk about the Buccaneers in that division so much. We talk about the disappointing of the Falcons in this division, but we don't talk about the success the Panthers have been having. So I'll take Carolina minus 5.5. Then give me Jamar Gibbs over 20.5 receiving yards at minus 115. Opened up at 16.5. There's some 23.5s out there, especially at DraftKings that just moved it to 23.5. I know his last game he only had 3 receiving yards, but I think the Lions want to get that bad taste out of their mouth, losing at home last week to Minnesota. I think Gibbs has a big game in the air and on the ground. And in the late game, give me the Chargers team total over 23.5 points. Chargers have hit this number 4 straight games. Yes, the Steelers defense showed up last week when Indy came to town, but this is in LA or San Diego, where you want to call it. Steelers last 3 road games, 2 of those games have hit the number, including the Jets putting up 30 plus points. So I think the Chargers can probably put up 23.5 points.
All right, I will take DG. He's on Buffalo Bills tight end Dalton Kincaid over 18.5 for the longest reception. And because kickers cash, in the great words of DG. Steelers at Chargers, total field goal yards over 144.5. So those are DG's plays. I've got 4, as I always do. A little disclaimer here. I took these numbers because I do hard-hitting research, Rafael. I don't know if you know this. I took these numbers off of DraftKings because if I've learned anything, he's not even here, and I'm going to stand on Kiss Up Mountain. If I've learned anything from Coach, if I've learned anything from you, Rafael, I'll go to Kiss Up Mountain for you, Rafael. It's always shop around. So one book had the Jaguars at -1 at a -110. I got the Jaguars -1.5 at +100. Who doesn't like a little plus money play? Davis Mills will be the quarterback for the Houston Texans today. I think the Jaguars easily handle a Davis Mills Texans offense. And then give me Caleb Williams. I don't care that it's cold. I don't care that it's snowy. We've seen him play well in bad weather last season when the offense was abysmal. I think Ben Johnson's offense is really starting to click there. The Giants have an awful defense. I was going to look at rushing props because of the weather, but DeAndre Swift is back. Kyle Monanganai had a career game, so I don't know which way they're going to give a bulk of the carries to. So give me Caleb Williams over 1.5 passing touchdowns at a minus 120. And then in our late game, give me the Seahawks team total over 26.5. Another number I found at a better price over at DraftKings. Listen, the Seahawks are on a roll. They just added Rashid Shaheed. They're taking on a Cardinals team that is more competitive with Jacoby Brissett, but I still believe the Seahawks continue their role, continue their offensive outpouring, and I actually like Shaheed to hit all of his props as Sam Darnold looks to display his new weapon. And then last but not least, Kyren Williams. And Rafael, this is a play that I'm doing to send a message to everyone in my fantasy league because I just got Kyren Williams. I don't want Kyren Williams. I want to trade him for youth. So I'm taking Kyren Williams over 64.5 rushing yards against the San Francisco 49ers. He is still a very good young back. Give me Kyren Williams to easily clear this line against the 49ers.
I do like the Seahawks play, especially with that number. I think that one probably goes to 7.5. I think Seahawks are going to be a very popular teaser, parlay, everything, just because they got Rashid in a trade line that their offense looks as good as their defense. So I think the Hawks put up a really lopsided number today.
So to get this straight, I have 4 plays and you like one of them?
Well, I mean, the Williams, both the Williams plays. I mean, I don't know what the weather is going to be. I really thought Iowa yesterday was going to play so much better with the weather, and they didn't. So I'm kind of teeter tottering on that one. I think the Bears do win this one, but one thing that scares me is Joe Flacco put up Hall of Fame numbers against your Bears defense. What's Dart going to do today?
Well, Dart doesn't have a Super Bowl championship. Joe Flacco does, but more on that later. You know what, Rafael? And if we don't have anything, that's fine. But you just mentioned something, and I think it would be dumb of me to not acknowledge. And I may have gotten a little acknowledgement yesterday on Twitter. Producer man, I don't know if you have anything ready to go that could be in terms of a celebration, a sounder, an animation, but you talked about that Iowa and Oregon game, Rafael, and I don't. I think you. Thank you. That's right. That's right. 9 straight weeks unbeaten for Mikey P's college football upset of the week on Iowa plus 6.5. It's just what I do. I love upsetting people, so I have 9 straight weeks of the proper upset. So you're welcome, America. Your thoughts?
Congratulations. I liked to play it well. I had Iowa. I really thought Iowa was going to just come out and the weather was going to be more effective. I thought I was really shocked on how well Oregon played in the first half. Their second half play was horrendous. So congratulations on Iowa. I also cashed on the Hawkeyes. Well, only didn't cash that much yesterday, but the Hawkeyes were one.
Well, listen, you buried the lead. You let the facts get in the way of a good story. You should have just came in and said, Mikey, I followed you. I heard you. I know you're on a heater. It's okay. No, don't worry. I'll do the promoting for myself. I got it. I got it. It is time to look ahead to our featured games of this Sunday afternoon. We've got 2 games in the afternoon, and then we've got a few games for the Sunday night and Monday night game. Let's start in Minnesota with the Ravens and the Vikings. 2 teams that I believe are going in opposite directions, but the momentum is swaying on one side here. Everyone is bullish on the Vikings. They think the Vikings are the next best thing because they beat the Lions. Rafael, your take on this game and these lines?
I love how you're speaking about one team going in the opposite direction. And I can see the Bears' voice in you when you said that. I disagree. I think both teams are going in the right direction. I like the play of Minnesota last week when they beat the Lions. Yes, it was only one game, but if they win this game, then you have to say what I said a week ago. This division could be wide open and continue to be wide open. Baltimore's offense looks so much different now that Lamar is back, but their defense still has question marks. Ooh, yes, they beat the Miami Dolphins, and where the Dolphins scored less than double digits, but that was the Dolphins. I want to see what the Ravens defense does tonight. If they show up and play well and win this game, then yes, everyone, Pittsburgh, everyone in the AFC should be notified and scared. But I want to see how Minnesota handles this game.
All right, I'll take my fandom out of it. The Vikings deserve credit for going into Detroit and beating Detroit on their home turf. However, I do not believe in JJ McCarthy. Aaron Jones is questionable for this game, so Jordan Mason could get a little more run. I know the Ravens defense has been atrocious this year, but this feels like a great spot for them to have maybe their best game of the season. JJ McCarthy has played well in spurts. I don't know that he will be able to hold the jockstrap of one Lamar Jackson as they go head to head. So I'm taking the Ravens -4. I know some shops have this at -4.5. So if you could still get the -4, get all over it. Raphael, your thoughts on the total here at 49?
It's dropping as we speak, 48.5. So I think a lot of people think it's going to be a defensive battle. I think if Baltimore, they want to control the game by running and maybe keeping Minnesota's offense off. And if you're the Vikings, you want to do the same thing. You want to keep Lamar on a silent. There's only one team or one side that can beat you, and that's the Ravens offense. I think they know that as of now, the Ravens defense is not going to win this game. So I like what the Minnesota's thinking. I would not be shocked if this one moves to 4.5 straight across the board. Maybe a couple of fives pop up because everyone wants to talk about, the Ravens are back, Lamar's back. But I'm gonna say if I can get a 5, I can guarantee you I'll be all over the Vikings if I can get a +5.
All right, we will watch ahead for that line movement. By the way, shout out to everyone in the chat: JC1, Walsey, Kimberly, and I mentioned that Raphael because coming up here in a matter of moments, you're going to have to tread lightly when we talk about a certain game. But let's move on to the other early afternoon game that is going to be, I think, one of the best games of the day, and that is the Buccaneers and Patriots. Baker Mayfield, two of the best quarterback stories of the season. And I can say that without putting in my fandom. I absolutely love both of these guys. I absolutely love both of these teams. And for me, Raphael, this comes down to a game where it is Baker Mayfield against Mike Vrabel. I know Drake May is playing well, but for me, the Patriots' success really falls on the shoulders of Mike Vrabel, his play calling, getting his defense intact. Where Baker Mayfield, we saw it time and time again to open up the season. Baker Mayfield was leading his team to wins in the final moments. He was absolutely clutch. So I actually like the Buccaneers in this one. Your thoughts?
I 100% agree with you. New England's going to be have to play some great defense because Tampa Bay's coming off a bye week. I think everyone's a little bit healthier. I think Baker's probably going to be a little bit healthier than we saw him last. I want to say I want to take Tampa Bay -2.5, but this game is my sound game in my office. This game is I'm going to sit back and watch it because it's going to be a fantastic. I'm actually leaning towards high scoring game. I think 48 is a little bit soft. The 48 and a half have been popping up. I can see both quarterbacks balling and this game going out really close, maybe like a 34-31 type of game where both quarterbacks have monster games. And we're talking about this game tomorrow morning. The first thing we talk about and how good this game could be.
I absolutely agree with you. I definitely like the over in this game. And for those who may be curious, if you're looking at certain player props, I know Ramondre Stevenson is out for this game, so Travion Henderson will lead the backfield for the Patriots. Also, no Mike Evans, obviously, no Chris Godwin, and no Bucky Irving. But I don't think that matters, Raphael, because Baker Mayfield has proven that no matter who's on the field, he's going to get them the ball. Rashad White is a dual threat out of the backfield running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So there are a lot of fun props to hit on in this game. But the one I want to look at, and I'll turn it over to you as I pull up the number, who or what do you like from maybe a player prop standpoint in this one?
I like Baker's rushing attempts and yards over. And everyone wants to take, there's no Evans, there's no Bucky. They've been playing without them for like 3-4 weeks. It's not like they got hurt last week and this is their first game playing. They've been able to do adjustments. I like both tight ends for Tampa Bay with their receiving yards. I just think Baker's one of those type of quarterbacks that he's going to look at wide receiver 1, 2, 3, 4, whoever has the best option to move the ball. That's who he's throwing it to. He doesn't have a favorite now that Evans isn't there. He doesn't have a cushion that Bucky's not there. So he's going to be throwing it to anyone and everyone who's out there running routes. So I like Baker. My best play is probably Baker rushing yards and rushing attempts. I can see him extending plays with his legs.
Well, the Buccaneers do have Emeka Egbuka, their superstar rookie wide receiver. He is going to be a guy who's probably heavily looked at today. However, I'm going to look at Tez Johnson because while we don't talk about Tez Johnson often, when he gets opportunities, Baker looks for him. Baker likes him a lot. So I like Tez Johnson. His number at BetMGM right now is 46 and a half. But there's another one. And it's a guy who's got 10 less yards and a world of opportunity. And that's Demario, better known as Pop Douglas, over in New England. His line is set at 36 and a half. Stephon Diggs is only set at 54 and a half. I think New England, in order to keep this game competitive, they're not going to just be able to run the ball. They're going to have to throw the ball all over the field. So I like Drake May on his passing yards, and I definitely like Demario Douglas over 36 and a half. And I believe, yeah, his reception number is 3.5 at plus money. So I will take over 3.5 and over his receiving yards. Also, the Patriots don't have Kayshon Boutte. I just needed an
I know,
opportunity. I just
I
needed
know.
an opportunity to say Booty. But hey, by the way, they're playing the Buccaneers, so are you mad I said that, Raphael?
Booty and Bucks, is that what you're going to? I like Drake May. I mean, his number opened up at 243 and a half. It's anywhere between 244, 245 and a half out there. I can see him going 250 plus. And like I said in the first time, I think both quarterbacks have big games. I think he has a big game of his arm. Baker does both arm and legs.
Question here from Bruce in the chat. It says, Ralph, do you like Baker 1.5 touchdown passes?
I do. I can see both of them throwing two touchdown passes. If I like the over, I can see both QBs having big games. So it would depending on the juice. I don't have the juice in front of me, Bruce, but I do like Baker to throw two touchdown passes today.
Yeah, over at BetMGM, it is a minus 190. That is
Never mind. Nope, don't like it.
that is
Don't like it.
quite the juice. That is
I do like him to throw it, but not at that juice. And Bruce, I'll tell you this: when you do quarterback touchdown passes, you never want to lay minus 135 or higher. And I know some people are gonna say, "Oh, find another play and parlay with it." That's not me. I would say you just pass on it. Sometimes you just have to overlook and say, you know what, I'm not taking 2.5. Some books might offer 2 plus, and you can get a two touchdown pass and maybe get a push on that. But anytime you're doing 1.5 TD passes or anything 1.5 in football, you never want to go past minus 135 on the juice. It's just not worth. It's just not good money management.
all right, Raphael, your financial advisor, our numbers guy for a reason. By the way, while you were talking, I was also looking because what else do we tell people? Shop around. I'm not pulling up every other book, but over at DraftKings, it's still very, very high. It's still minus 172, but that's a little better than the minus 190. Either way, I think we both love both quarterbacks. We love the over in this game. And Raphael, you said you're on the Buccaneers, correct?
I'm floating under. I do, but man, Drake May's been getting so much love. I hate to lose on a hot guy that everyone's giving love, and I should say, why did I play that? So my gut's telling me take the 2.5. My wallet's telling me something else.
Well, depending on who you ask, I think some people would say these quarterbacks are both hot guys. But I digress. Let's move on to the Sunday night football game. And this is where I cautioned you to tread lightly, Raphael, because the chat queen Kimberly is in the chat. And you've already taken a couple shots in your best bets in the Steelers and Chargers game. I love the Steelers in this game, but the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, this one's gonna be very interesting because Baltimore would have played already. I'm sure Pittsburgh's going to be watching that game. Pittsburgh coming off a big, and I mean a big win against Indianapolis at home, where the defense showed up. I think the chat queen would agree with me. The defense finally showed up, played a great game to beat the Colts. Now can they have back-to-back games with a not so home field advantage for the Chargers? None of the California teams really have great home field advantage except the 49ers. I think there's going to be a lot of yellow towels waving around in this Charger game. I think if the Steelers defense can play well, they can shut down an injured Chargers team. They've been injured all season long. So I think it's going to be a great game. I lean towards the over. That's why I got the Chargers team total over 23.5. I can see that the Steelers going toe to toe on offense. I can see both teams hitting in the mid 20s in this game. So I think the over is the best play. But if Pittsburgh's defense plays like they did last week, it would not shock me if the Steelers win this game.
I'm right there with you. I love the Steelers on the money line. I love them with the points, and I love the over. The last time we saw Aaron Rodgers on Sunday Night Football, let's be honest, it was
Green Bay
embarrassing.
Packers.
It was embarrassing. Jordan Love outclassed Aaron Rodgers in that game. The defense got torched. But that defense also torched the Indianapolis Colts last week. The Chargers don't have either of their starting tackles in this game. We know about their injuries at running back. This is going to come down to Justin Herbert in this game. And I honestly do think with the momentum that Rodgers and the Steelers have on defense with TJ Watt, on offense with Aaron Rodgers, and as I have said all week, they won that game against the Colts last week with DK Metcalf having 6 receiving yards. They're beating a good team without even utilizing their star wide receiver. So I love the Steelers on this one. And if we look at a few props here as we kind of check out what they have going on here, one guy I like, and he is a guy where we talked about this last week, Raphael, where you're looking at a certain player and you go, man, they're on a hot streak. I forget who it was last week. I asked you, but I said, hey, this guy scored a touchdown in 3 straight weeks. It's kind of unheard of. How do you feel about that? I actually believe it was the Thursday night game with
I think it was
RJ.
a Thursday night game.
Yeah. But Arande Gatson, the tight end
Yep.
for the Chargers, he has been an absolute stud lately. His number right now, 52.5 for a tight end, and his receptions is 4.5. Do you like either of those for this young rising tight end?
Yeah, because I think he's going to be focused a lot, especially teams that beaten Pittsburgh lately have used the tight ends to beat them and put up lopsided numbers. Okay, Steelers defense on the road has given up 2 games over 30 points. So yeah, I like that play for the Charge. I think he's going to be highly targeted and highly used in this one. So that's a great play. I love this kid too. I mean, he's a phenomenal player. No one talks about it. I mean, NFL goes QBs, and I think tight ends have overcome the wide receivers and the running backs when you're talking name wise. I think it's QBs one, and I have to put tight ends number 2. There's so many good tight ends that put up amazing stats week after week.
I would disagree. I would still put tight ends fourth. But you are right.
Fourth,
You are correct. Wait, you are correct. There are some great young tight ends, including one Colston Loveland of the Chicago Bears. Not sure if you've heard his name when he had a game 58-yard touchdown. I digress. But for me, as I'm all over the Steelers in this one, Raphael, I look at Aaron Rodgers right now at BetMGM. His passing touchdowns over 1.5 at plus money, plus 105. Love that for Rodgers. And then his passing yards, 224.5. I don't think we're asking the world of Aaron Rodgers to get to 225. So I actually like both of those plays.
100% agree. And this is maybe why ESPN Bet is no longer going to be because they have 218.5 in this game. DraftKings has 216.5 for Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers blows this number up. I mean, granted, he didn't hit his passing yards last game against Indy, but they didn't need to. Especially in the second half where they controlled the clock with the run game. But he's hit this number 3 out of 4 games. I think Aaron Rodgers has a huge game on the road. So I'm a little bit blown away. Shop around and get the best number. Sign up at DraftKings and grab the great low number.
Yeah, absolutely. And another, speaking of low numbers, a number that I like as well, Kenneth Gainwell, the RB2 in Pittsburgh, his rush and receiving yards, 35.5. It feels like that could be an easy hit. Not that it's completely a lock, but I really like Kenneth
He's
Gainwell.
he's a great third down running back. So if for like a third option, if your other options are there, he's a great the screen pass or a little bit dump pass right there, and he can get you some easy yards. I love that play.
Yeah, I think for me, when I look at especially rushing receiving yards at the running back or maybe an Xavier Worthy, you've got to, if you can break down in your head the amount of how many snaps you think he's going to get, I'd say anywhere between 10 to 17 snaps. And then what plays can he get? Can he get 6 yards here, 9 yards here, a 17-yard. Yeah, like we're right there on 3 plays. So I'm absolutely with you, Raphael. I love that play. And before we go to the next game, I want to start because we're going to look at the Monday night game next. But before we start looking at the numbers in that game, I want to talk about something that we teased at the top of the show, and that is the poison pill between the Cowboys and the Packers. Now, we all started the NFL season talking about, wow, what a trade. Micah Parsons to the Packers for, I think, 13 days straight. The only name you heard in the NFL was Micah Parsons, right? So Adam Schefter of ESPN this morning revealed that there's a poison pill. And what a poison pill is that if the Packers decide to trade Micah Parsons within the next 2 seasons to the NFC East, well, then the Cowboys get the Packers' first round pick in 2028. Now, it is vice versa with the Cowboys and Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark cannot get traded to an NFC North team, or the Packers will get the Cowboys' first round pick. Raviel, I know it's a lot of moving parts, but basically, the players that each team traded to one another cannot get traded to a divisional rival over the next 2 years. Your thoughts?
This is fascinating because who thought about this? Like, hey, you know what? Before we make this trade, hold on, I got an amendment. Let me type something up really, really quick to put this in the trade proposal. But how can we just find out now on November 9th? It's not like he got traded on Thursday, or this is we're months away, and we're just finding about this suicide pill. That's crazy, crazy, crazy that we're just finding this out now. Brilliant. I like it. I think more teams should use it in all leagues. But I think I'm blown away that we just found. I mean, maybe other people knew about this. I didn't know about this, but this November 9th, I think it's fascinating.
Well, maybe the reason you didn't know about this is because apparently the last time we've seen it is in August of 2008 when the Packers traded.
Really?
Yeah, the Packers traded
Wow.
Brett Favre to the Jets, and they put in the same thing, the same type of poison pill. I believe that's why Favre was in the Jets for 2 years, because if back then in 2008, if Favre would have went to the Vikings within the
Vikings.
first year, the Jets would have owed the Packers three first round picks. Imagine what
I
that
forgot
would.
about he wanted to get out of the Jets the first season, and everyone thought it was the Vikings. I think I did prop bets on that one. Would he be a Viking? I remember about that. That was wow. Oh wow, 2008 last time. That's crazy.
Yeah, at least that's the time that is referenced here in the article on ESPN. Is August 2008 was the last time that was used. But I do think it's crazy, and it leads into another conversation. Something that you just said while we were talking about this. It's November 9th. Why are we just hearing about this now? I understand the trade deadline just passed, but one thing that really irritates me, Raphael, is now we get all these articles,
No,
NFL.com, ESPN, and they're all saying, like the big one that came out today. Jalen Waddle and Quinnen Williams were two players targeted by the Buffalo Bills. So the Buffalo Bills, who are one of the best teams in the AFC, were trying to go in their division for high quality superstar players, and they didn't get their hands on them. Raviel, what does that information mean to anyone except to piss off a fan base?
it means nothing because that's what it is. Just to piss off a fan base for clicks and likes on social media. I think the Miami Marlins called the Dodgers to see if Otani was available during a trade deadline. Now, this means nothing. I hate every league does it. I'm not going to just make fun of the NFL, but every league does it after their trade deadline. Someone comes up on TV on Fox or ESPN and says, oh, so and so was almost traded here or was asked to be traded. No, he wasn't. They're just trying to keep that momentum of the trade deadline, keep the clicks and likes, and keep that organization, NFL, Major League, NBA, in the limelight.
And I'm going to have a venting session with you, Raphael, because I was one of those members of a annoyed fan base because apparently the Chicago Bears were deep in discussions with the Saints for Alante
Yes,
Taylor, the
they were.
cornerback. And oh, that's great. You know what that does? That does nothing for me because now I've got to go watch Nick McLeod today play cornerback for the Chicago Bears or CJ Gardner Johnson. I don't care about who we almost got. You know, I think back to when I was 22. I almost had a date with Reese Witherspoon. Would you believe that?
Last week?
No, Mrs. Mikey P is real, and I'm not trying to be homeless. Thank you very much, Raphael. But that's my point. Like Chris Paul was almost a Laker. What does that mean for anybody? Stop revealing these post trade deadline nuggets. I understand they're a talking point. I understand clicks and likes, but all you absolutely do is create exactly what we're talking about. More headlines, which is what they want, but more aggravated fan bases because why do I want to know about somebody we missed out on?
It's just like a brilliant man once tells us that you continue to play the hits, and those are the hits. Just it's just that kind of stuff. It's just to keep on talking about it, especially if it's in the three letters of NFL.
Well, one important two-letter word in the NFL is QB. And before we get to the Packers Packers and Eagles, I want to talk about two very interesting quarterbacks and their story. So, the biggest trade at the trade deadline was Sauce Gardner to the Indianapolis Colts for not one but two first round picks. Right now, live look, the Colts are up 13-7 as I look to the skies because I forgot to set my monitors up correctly. 8:20 to go. The Colts just getting the ball right at about the 12-yard line of their own. But the Colts give up two first round picks. And Raphael, your thoughts here came out this morning. Ian Rappaport of NFL Network said the Colts were willing to do so because they truly believe they have their QB1 in Daniel Jones. Are they getting ahead of themselves here?
No, I just think they're playing poker and they're all in this year. That's all. They're just all in, just like Seattle. I think Seattle did the same thing. We're all in this year, and I love the way that they showed the locker room. Hey, you know what? We saw a spot to improve our team. We're gonna take it, and I think that's great morale for the locker room, for the Colts, and for the Seahawks. But I love to play, and I think Daniel Jones could be that QB when he got out of New York. He's playing some really good football. He's got a great offensive line. Didn't have one in New York. I know he had Barkley, but he's got a legit running back that can control the clock and control him as well. So I love what the Colts are doing. So I'm all in. That's what they're all doing.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know that first round picks are very valuable, right? Obviously, two of them can land you a cornerback, an all pro corner, in Sauce Gardner. I don't know that I would say I traded two first round picks because I believe in Daniel Jones. I would say I traded away two first round picks because I believe in the team we've built around Daniel Jones with that offensive line that you mentioned, with Jonathan Taylor, who has a touchdown today, and a very under the radar receiving core with Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, Alec Pierce, who has a touchdown today. Tyler Warren, the rookie tight end. I know you love tight ends, Raphael. I'm going to get clipped for saying that, by the way. But
Gucci man, clip that.
yeah. But on the other side, there's a bigger story that I kind of said and mentioned 2 to 3 weeks ago about Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. Murray was placed on injured reserve this week. Jacoby Brissett named the starter after the upset win in Dallas last week on Monday Night Football. Now, also according to Ian Rappaport, the Cardinals have a decision to make. I believe it's by March 13th or 19th. He will have a guaranteed $19.5 million bonus if he's on the roster by March 13th. Do the Cardinals get rid of Kyler Murray this offseason, Raphael?
This is another thing that these NFL reporters. I don't need to be an NFL reporter. He's gone. Ian does not have to say, "Oh, they have a deadline by March." They already benched him. His deadline is gone. He ain't gonna be on there. He's gonna wear a different jersey. By Super Bowl, he'll probably be with a different team. So I mean, did we really need that tweet? I think every NFL viewer knew that Kyler Murray has played his last game in Arizona. Yes, the money, yeah, we all want to know how much is on the table and all that. I get that, but do we really need to know? Like, there's no way Kyler Murray is going to be running around in Arizona playing quarterback and playing video games at halftime. There's no way that's going to happen. So, Kyler Murray, it wouldn't shock me. I'm hearing he could be a New Orleans Saints, and that would make me happy because I would laugh.
I was going to put you on the hot seat. Where do you think, and I'm sure you'll have odds on this in the future, where do you think Kyler Murray ends up playing quarterback next year?
There's gonna be so many quarterbacks I think are gonna be on the market. What if Jacksonville can? I know they're one of your plays, and I hate to say this because I do like Jacksonville, but if they lose today, and let's say is Trevor Lawrence gonna be on the market? We have Kyler Murray, we have Russell Wilson, we have so many quarterbacks that could be on the market next year, and there's so many teams. Jacksonville, Saints, are all going to be looking for quarterbacks. Just to name the Raiders. There's so many teams with so many options for quarterbacks next year, but I think Kyler Murray will be a QB1 next year.
So here's the article from NFL.com. The Cardinals must cut him before March to not be on the hook for any of his 2027 salary, and a release triggers a $57.7 million cap hit that can be split up between 26 and 27, while a trade triggers a manageable 17.9 million dead cap hit, but saves 35.3 million. It's all expensive. As the article goes
Tua
on.
could be in the market next year too. Tua could be on the market, so that means Miami will need a quarterback.
How about one from our chat queen? I know she doesn't want me to say this, but she said, "Whoever has the audacity to mention my beloved Steelers where Kyler is concerned." I'll ask that question. Aaron Rodgers is on a 1-year deal,
Yeah, Pittsburgh. Yeah,
so I think there's a lot of moving parts. I look at a team, and I really, really would hate to put this juju on them, but I think he might be a great fit in New York. When push comes to shove, I think Kyler Murray's a better quarterback than Justin Fields. Aaron Glenn, although they haven't won any games, has gotten some pretty good play out of Justin Fields. So I think you get an upgrade with a set contract and all those first round picks because the Jets need help everywhere. They traded away their top defenders. Now you've got to rebuild your defense. I don't think they're getting Fernando Mendoza. I would get
no.
Kyler Murray and put in all your resources, all your draft capital across your team. Maybe go trade for a guy like Kyler Murray.
And Mendoza may not come out. We heard it yesterday after the game. He loves playing at Indiana, so he. Can you imagine Pittsburgh Steelers were calling Jacksonville over to say, "Hey, what's your stance on Trevor?" Can you imagine if the Jags just completely tank for the rest of the season? Can you imagine if the Pittsburgh Steelers getting Trevor Lawrence? That'd be a
That
nice fit. That would be a nice fit for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I agree as well. All right, let's get to our last featured game, and then we'll quickly look around the league and then give our final takes and get out of here. Our last game, the Eagles and the Packers. We mentioned these two teams with the Micah Parsons situation. Micah Parsons is on the field for Green Bay. Tucker Kraft will not be. I think the Packers take a huge hit offensively. I don't love this number. I love it for the Philadelphia Eagles, which makes me want to throw up. My two least favorite teams playing against each other. I don't know why or how I'm going to watch this game, but I will. Give me the Eagles. Raphael, your thoughts?
I like the under. I played the under when it first opened up at 47. I think it's going to be a defensive battle. Kraft missing in Green Bay. I think Green Bay's defense wants to show up and forget about what they did last week as a double-digit favorite when they got the big L. But so much Philly money has come in would not shock me if the Packers pull out the upsets on Monday Night Football on primetime. But I think for myself, I think there's value still at the 46 and 45 and a halves have been popping. So I would say get the number because it wouldn't shock me if we see a 45 or 44 and a half by kickoff. But I think the under has to be great value just because I like the way the Eagles defense was playing and they boosted up their defense that no one talks about during the trade deadline. And we all want to talk about the two big trades, Seattle and the Colts. The Eagles did pretty well during the trade deadline as well, especially on the D side.
Yeah, they absolutely did. I actually like that play. At first, I was a little concerned, because I think these two teams are capable of putting up points. But you're right. The Eagles upgraded their defense. The Packers lost Tucker Kraft. This is a game for me, and I felt this way when the Packers played the Steelers. I needed to see Jordan Love show up. Well, now he's without one of his top weapons. I think this goes back to the Packers leaning on Josh Jacobs a little bit. So give me the Eagles. And I'm going to stay away from props because this is Sunday morning, 10:40 a.m. Eastern time. So we're not going to hit on any props right now, but I do want to go
Well,
around.
let
Go
me
ahead.
let me jump on that on props for the Packers game. There's going to be weather involved. There's a cold front that's getting ready to hit or has already hit the Green Bay area, so it's going to be cold. I don't know about snow flurries, but there are possible lake effect snow for the next 3 days. I heard around that area. You live around that area. You know what lake effect snow. They say lake effect snow maybe 1 inches, and you wake up and there's a foot on the ground. So weather could be involved in this one. I think that's why people are betting the under. So I would wait to bet prop bets when you get a better weather report, maybe tonight or first thing tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I talked to my inside sources over in the weather department there in Chicago, aka I looked at my phone. And the big snow's not supposed to hit until late tonight. So if you're on that Bears game, it's going to be cold, it's going to be windy, but that's also called Chicago in November. So I don't think that that's going to affect it as much as people may think. Minnesota, obviously, they play indoors, but Green Bay, if there is snow coming, it's going to come late and late Sunday night. So that means there could be more coming Monday. Also, they'll have to get the field right for Monday Night Football. All right, Raphael, quickly, let's go around the league. And actually, we have a touchdown in the Falcons and Colts game. Michael Penix with a touchdown pass to Drake London. That game, surprisingly, tied up at 13, I believe, extra point pending for Atlanta. All right. Very, very quickly, we'll just go through these games. Giants, Bears, your thoughts on that one?
I think the Bears come out on top. Live bet on this Colt game is now 3.5. It's tight score. That means it's 0-0. That means the number was 6.5 before kickoff. Now you're getting 3 points better on this. I would lean towards taking the Colts, but in your game, I'm going to be Kiss Up Mountain to you. I'm going to take the Bears.
Yeah. I'm taking the Bears as well. I think, as I wrote in my pregame column for USA Today, I believe this is a game where we see even more trick plays. New York is without their two top offensive playmakers. They do have a very good, underrated pass rush on defense, but I think the Bears have a good enough offensive line to kind of contain that pass rush. So, another game, I think it's a big game for one team. I just don't know if I can ever take the Miami Dolphins seriously. They're taking on the Buffalo Bills in Miami. Do the Bills roll in this game?
Only way I would take Dolphins if I was getting 10. So this is something maybe take first half or live bet it to see how how the game is being played. But I want nothing to do with this one.
Raphael, we are in week 10 of the NFL, so can I interest you in two bar burners? They're so good, I'm going to put them in the same conversation. We've got the Browns and the Jets and the Saints and the Panthers. How much do you love it?
I do like. I think there's great value on the Browns. I mean, the Jets. What is their mentality? Giving away not one or two of your bigger names during the trade deadline. Now you have to play a home game where the crowd don't want to be there. So I think it's a great way for the Browns to step up their defense, shut down a Jets' horrible offense, and win a big road game. I kind of think there's value with the Browns, and it's Carolina. I am blown away. I've been doing this for almost 30 years, and two books just moved the Carolina Panthers to -5. Do those? Does anyone watch Saints games? Does anyone see the record? No one in the state of Louisiana can win a W. I'm talking to you, LSU, who lost last night. I'm talking to you, Pelicans, who lost last night, and I'm talking about the Saints, who have one win.
Well,
Sorry, Big Chuck.
those games should be thrilling and exciting. I'll say this: I like Justin Fields at passing and rushing yards against that Browns defense.
Really?
That's about all I like. The Jaguars are one of my best bets. I have them -1.5. Why and how in God's green earth are the Texans now? From what I see, at least on ESPN Bet or on their website, Houston -1.5. Don't the Jaguars just roll over Davis Mills, Raphael?
You would think so, but I thought Jacksonville was going to be much better than last year, and so far I'm eating crow, and that's why I think the Trevor Lawrence rumors, any loss they have for the rest of the season, we're gonna hear is Trevor Lawrence the right fit in Jacksonville. I mean, they've had so many chances. Can you give a guy?
Well, they just traded for Jacoby Myers, and Travis Hunter, will be back sooner than later. So I like the Jaguars to roll in this game. And then we've got a bunch of one-sided games in the late afternoon. Cardinals at the Seahawks, Rams and 49ers, Lions, Commanders. I really do like the Seahawks and Lions to roll. I will say this. I think the 49ers and Rams game will be closer than advertised. Your thoughts on either of those three late afternoon games?
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me if all three of them are really close. If you look at the schedule, there's only a small handful of games that you can see, okay, blowouts. This one's not going to be something that's going to be on my radar. It's going to be a lopsided score. But those three games, it would not shock me, especially I think the Rams, San Francisco. I'm blown away that San Francisco was +6. Jones playing really good ball at quarterback. CMC doing everything and anything he can do to get W's. I mean, I'm blown away that that's that type of a number. I don't think sixes are going to be there when the game kicks off and when shock if we see 5.5s. But if you can get a six and a 49ers, I think it's a really good play.
Puka Nakua back for the Rams. Kyron
Yes.
Williams, also one of my best plays. And I'm going to say it. Matthew Stafford's playing some absolute great ball this season. I actually look forward to that game the most in that late afternoon.
Really quick, I want to hear your opinion. Is there a quarterback controversy in San Francisco?
No, no. I think there's health concerns in San Francisco. You give Brock Purdy all that money, and he seemingly cannot stay healthy year after year after year. I'll say this, not so much a quarterback controversy, because sometimes you can have that. I think maybe in Arizona, you have that a bit more. That's a defensive minded coach. The difference between, I would say, an Arizona and San Francisco is a defensive minded coach needs to just roll with the quarterback that's winning them games. I really do believe you could take maybe 60% of the quarterbacks in the NFL, bring him to San Francisco, and Kyle Shanahan would get the absolute best out of them. So,
Agree. 100% agree.
yeah, I think Mac Jones is a valuable backup to have because he can play quarterback in the NFL. But I would still take Brock Purdy when 100% healthy. So, and I know he's getting there. He's not there yet, but he's getting there. So, just props to Kyle Shanahan on that. All right, Raphael, because I don't keep you or producer man very long on these Sunday morning shows, your final takes for today.
It'd be very interesting. There's some really key games and really key teams looking at games that maybe play before them to see how they're going to react. AKA Baltimore and Pittsburgh going to be watching with pins and needles because they play the late games. So I'm excited to watch some of these late games.
I'm excited to watch the Browns and the Jets and the Panthers and the Saints because I like misery. But before any misery, I really as a fan, I'm going to watch, and as an employee, I'm going to have to watch the Chicago Bears game, right? However, that Buccaneers and Patriots game could be more than likely will be the most talked about game after the early afternoon games. And all I'm going to say is good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good gets better and your better gets best. Bears on 3. They win their second straight. And Big Tommy C, I saw you with your little pinky ring. I saw you get into the Legends Lounge. That's cute. You're on the first floor. Raphael and I, two timers, we sit up top. For Raphael, thank you very much, sir. This was a lot of fun. The coach will be back. He was just attending to family business today. So for Raphael, our numbers guy, great job to you as always. I am Mikey P, legally known as Mike Pendleton. Thank you to producer man always for getting up with us. And thank you to the chat and everyone who joined us this morning. Week 10 in the NFL is here. And you've got all of our best bets. You've got all of our plays, and take them to don't even take them to the pay window. Just tell us thank you afterwards. We will have a Sunday evening show with yours truly. I believe 7:30 Eastern time. I will go live as we recap all the day's action and look ahead to Sunday Night Football. So for the entire crew, I am Mike Pendleton, thanking you all for watching Coaching Company right here on the Coaching Company YouTube page.